My ex came back. How to respond when your ex does come back. Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about what to do when your ex does come back. So obviously I've done a lot of videos about walking away, about no contact. And so what happens if your ex or this person that you're interested in does actually come back into your life? Like, how do you respond? So one of the first things that I want you to kind of consider is whether or not you actually want your ex back. Now you might be thinking, well, yeah, of course I want them back. That's why I'm here. You know, you kind of want me to get to that bit where I say this is what you do. But there are a few things that I do want you to consider first. So please don't skip over this section. So first of all, I want you to please consider what your relationship with them was like when you two were in a relationship. What was it like? Was it, pleasant? Was it all sunshine and rainbows? Were you giving to each other? Were you having a laugh? Were you having a great time? Or was there a lot of toxicity? Were you arguing? Was there a lot of passive-aggressive behavior? How were you feeling? Like, were you really happy and elated to be in this relationship? Or were you miserable? Did you feel bad about yourself? Did she or he make you feel bad about yourself? Did you go to bed every night with a smile on your face? Or did you go to bed every night with a frown? Or did you even cry? So these are things that are really important that you need to consider, because obviously if you are experiencing the negative things, if there was a lot of toxicity, a lot of passive aggressiveness, if you two couldn't communicate with each other and you was always arguing and there was just basically just so much toxic behaviors going on, then do you really want to get back with that person? Because usually when we get dumped by someone or we have a breakup, suddenly the rejection starts to breed obsession, which is a quote by Tony Robbins, like rejection breeds obsession. So when you get dumped by someone, you instantly go into this obsessive mode where you need to get them back, you want them back. But you have to understand, when this kind of thing happens, your brain is actually tricking you. It's just because rejection breeds obsession. It doesn't necessarily mean that you really do want them back. It's just the fact that you've just got rejected. And because rejection breeds obsession, it makes you feel like you want them back when actually you don't really want them back at all. And when you kind of become objective and you look back on the relationship and you see all these negative and toxic things, then you realize like, oh, actually, no, I don't want to get back with this person. I was absolutely miserable. And this is something that I absolutely 110% fell into in one of my first relationships. So I was in a relationship, that person cheated on me, and so I dumped them. And then when we broke up, I started fantasizing and thinking about all the good times, and I started to overlook all the bad things that happened, like the bad communication, the cheating, all this toxic behavior. I looked past it because the relationship was now over, and I was looking back on it with nostalgia and rose-colored glasses. And therefore, I went back to that person. Now, eventually, we did end up splitting up because the cheating basically continued to happen. And I then obviously metaphorically grew a pair and I left that relationship. But the reason that I went back was because I was looking at that relationship with nostalgia. So be very aware of what you are thinking, what you are feeling, and make sure that you're not looking back at that ex with nostalgia when they do come back, thinking, oh, it's going to be really wonderful, when you know in the past that it's been really toxic, you've been really miserable, you were arguing all the time, and there was a lot of horrible things going on that made you miserable. So that's the first thing that you need to consider. However, if the relationship was really good, if let's say the reason why this person broke up with you was, or the reason you broke up with them was for a really, really silly reason, and this person is a good person, you were always happy with each other, you had a lovely time together, you had a great experience together, you always went to bed with a smile on your face, there was a lot of physical intimacy, you always wanted to spend time with each other, everything was always really great, everything was always really wonderful. If you had that experience and you know that this person is a genuinely kind and lovely person who's never done anything to hurt you, is a real gem of a person, then by all means, when this ex does reach out to you, this is what you can do. So when your ex, your kind, lovely ex, reaches out to you after you've done some no contact and you've walked away from them, when they start reaching out to you again, the best thing for you to do is to say that you're really happy that they've reached out to you and you would really love it if you could meet up for a catch up. You could have a drink sometime. Just put it across that way, because obviously if an ex does come back, you don't really know what their intentions are. Perhaps they do only want friendship with you. So the best way that you can kind of test the waters to see what's going on is to ask if they would like to meet up for a drink with you, so you can have a little bit of a catch up and see how things have been. And then you can kind of test the waters to see whether, when you go on that date, to see basically how things are going, how they're feeling, and what their intentions are, because you can't really tell these things just by them reaching out to you. But obviously it is a really, really good sign if your ex has reached out to you, because obviously they wouldn't be reaching out to you if they didn't care at all. Obviously, if they were the one to break up with you, then it's probably best that you make them do more of the effort than what you are, because obviously if they want to rekindle things and they're the one that broke it off with you, then they need to put in some effort. And the best way you can kind of do this is to make sure that they are doing things to kind of suit your needs. So this could be like meeting at a restaurant that is closer to you rather than you driving miles to go and meet up with them. So making them do most of the work, because if they broke up with you, there's no point you kind of enabling that bad behavior by doing basically all that you can to meet their needs. So make sure that they're meeting your needs instead. Like if they're sorry, if they're upset about being, away from you and the fact that they broke up with you, then they're the one that needs to kind of put in the effort. They're the one that has to say to you as well that they want to rekindle things. It's okay for you to, offer the olive branch and say, oh yeah, we should meet up and have a catch up sometime. But you have to let them be the one that apologizes and them be the one that puts in the effort. Because if you're the one that's putting in the effort when it was their fault, you are basically saying, please, you're basically saying to them that their behavior was okay. The fact that they dumped you for a really silly reason was okay. And obviously you don't want to give that kind of vibe. You have to let them come to you and to make the effort. But obviously it's okay for you to say to them, oh, we should have a catch up sometime, and when are you free to do so? Because obviously they might be a bit shy about, making arrangements and stuff like that, depending on who this kind of person is. If they're not very decisive, like let's say they spend hours and hours to get ready and get dressed, then obviously they're not going to be someone who's going to want to make concrete decisions. So if you kind of know their personality, which I'm assuming you do because this is an ex, then you might have to make some of the decisions, but ultimately it's them that has to apologize. It's them who has to say, I want to be with you again, not the other way around. And obviously if it is the other way around, like if you were the one whose fault the breakup was, if you did something stupid to disrespect the relationship, or you broke up with them for a silly reason, then you're the one that needs to apologize and put in all the effort and basically say that you're sorry and you want to get back together. So it kind of works like that. But that is essentially how you should respond if your ex does come back. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye, guys.